Pressure at all. Hi everyone, my name is Nick Yacoub and I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I'm also the regional supervisor for the Substance Abuse and Addiction Recovery Alliance of Northern Virginia. I'm a certified peer specialist, also known as a recovery coach in layman's terms. When I say person in long-term recovery, what that means for me is that I haven't used alcohol or any other drug in 8 years at this point. And as a result of that, my life's gotten dramatically better. I can talk about the external things, being able to go back to school, being able to forge relationships with people out in the community, forge relationships with my family again. But for me, recovery is more about the internal things. Actually being comfortable in my own skin. Being able to look in the mirror and not hate what's looking back at me. And, not being a chameleon, not having to say one thing to one group of people to get what I want out of them, and then acting totally different around another group of people. I'm consistent. I'm the same person regardless of who I'm talking to, whether it's coworkers or my family or my friends out in the community. It doesn't matter. I'm the same person. So I started using drugs when I was 10 years old, and it started with marijuana, alcohol, that sort of thing, and eventually I've got into prescription pills around the age of 14, and between the ages of 18 and 19, that's when I first discovered heroin and started using heroin, I was arrested in 2005 when I was 19 years old. And a lot of my drug use at that point funneled into alcoholism. And I know the big focus here is heroin tonight, but addiction's addiction. Trying to switch a substance of choice is like trying to switch seats on the Titanic. It's still going down. But I finally entered recovery when I was 21 years old. After 2 years of drinking between a fifth and a half gallon of liquor a day, I was pulled over on a suspected DUI right here in Leesburg. Turns out the sheriff's department has a very lovely apartment complex around the corner from here, and I was able to rent an apartment in there. But after 5 or 6 days of hard physical detox in there, I was introduced to somebody from the recovery community who made me think that maybe there's some hope, maybe there's some possibility for me. People in recovery, we're everywhere, all walks of life. Some of us are in politics, some of us are doctors, some of us are lawyers, some of us are recovery coaches. It doesn't matter. We're all over the place. If you're in the food service industry, chances are there's some person in recovery that works there. We're everywhere. This disease affects about 1 in 10 people. The latest statistic, the one I like to quote from 2012, says that there are 23.5 million people in this country that are in recovery from addiction. So we're out there, If you are at home or you're watching this or you're struggling with this in some way, go out there, go to the community, get the help you need. That's what I had to do. So I went to a 28-day treatment program in Lynchburg, Virginia. It was a condition of my bond. This is December of 2007. I had been bonded out. I had about 12 days in recovery, dried out, so to speak. And, I went to a 28-day program, and I got there, and what I realized for me was that giving back to the community, giving back to other people that also suffer from this disease, that's what helped me stay in recovery. And I came back and I saw a probation officer, and the probation officer said, I think you need some further treatment. I'm real glad you're doing well and all, but... So I went out and got an evaluation in the county I live in, Fairfax, and went through their community service program to get treatment. And I went to a 90-day program after that. And, in that program, I got to face some of my demons. I lost my best friend to a heroin overdose at the age of 19. It was about the time that, like I said, a lot of my drug use funneled into alcohol. And dealing with those demons, dealing with the excuses I gave myself to continue using drugs, was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. But the beautiful thing about recovery is that I didn't have to do it alone. If I had tried to do this on my own, I don't know if I would be standing here right now. I don't know if I'd be alive. I don't know what would have happened. Because for me, recovery has to be a community effort. It has to be with other people that are in recovery. It has to be with, getting back together with my family. It has to be meeting new people and finding ways to have fun. I have a friend of mine who's been in the recovery community for over 45 years. He says, the two things that make recovery work, and I quote, peer pressure, which, believe it or not, you can use it for something positive, and taking back Saturday night, learning how to have fun again. Because I was 21 years old when I got into recovery. I thought, my life's over. I'm never going to be able to get high, get drunk, do any of this stuff ever again. And, lo and behold, I've had more fun in recovery than I ever had out there drinking and drugging and, using any number of things. Going whitewater rafting, going out, going camping with friends, going to the beach, and actually being able to be cognizant of what is going on around me. It was a beautiful thing. So fast forward a little bit, I went to a 10-month supervised living program, also in Fairfax, and graduated from there. And that taught me how to live out in the community, find a job. It wasn't a great job. At this point, I was a convicted felon awaiting trial for another felony. And I was in these treatment programs. And, it was 2008, it was the height of the recession. I'm thinking I'm never going to be able to find a job, I'm never going to be able to, all excuses, because guess what, I found 3 jobs. They weren't the best paying jobs in the world, but, recovery taught me to push myself in trying to do positive things in my life. So I did that, and, graduated from that program, and had to go back to court in Loudoun County. And the judge said to me, well, Mr. Yacoub, I'm so very glad you turned your life around, but I have to sentence you and put you back in jail anyways. And between Fairfax County and between Loudoun County and a probation violation in Fairfax County, I wound up serving a year and 10 days between both counties in recovery. And that makes all the difference in the world, because what that experience was a gift. It taught me that I could practice my recovery, I could live a recovery lifestyle regardless of what my outside circumstances were. I would find other men in there and work with them and try to figure out if recovery might be a good fit for their lifestyle. I talked to guys that couldn't figure out that every time they got drunk, they smoked crack. Every time they smoked crack, they robbed the local convenience store. That's why they've been in and out of jail or prison their entire life. So I was able to do something positive with my time in there. Anything else is an excuse. That's what recovery has taught me. So I got out of there. I went back to school. Another good idea to do something, positive for my life, something recovery taught me. And I went back to Northern Virginia Community College, right down the street here on Route 7, and continued studying psychology, and then transferred into Mason. I graduated from George Mason University with a Bachelor's of Science in Psychology in 2013. And, I had started volunteering as a peer specialist for my organization, Sarah. And ever since then, it's taken me all over the place. If you had asked me 8 years ago, vomiting blood in a jail cell right down the road from here, if I would be standing up here talking to you guys about recovery, I'd have thought you were crazy, and I'd probably asked you for about $20. Because that was the kind of addict I was. So in any event, it's been an amazing journey. Recovery has given me everything that I ever thought I would find at the bottom of a bag or a bottle. Bringing it back to heroin and what's going on right now. with the opioid crisis, everything that's been said before, people have been hearing it 1,000 times. I think one big thing that I would like to see is a lot more doctors out in the community be aware of addiction. If you look at DSM-5, the Diagnostics Manual from the American Psychological Association, it lists 7 criteria for chemical dependence. I'd love to see a lot more doctors out there in the community familiar with that sort of stuff. Some of y'all may notice my eye is a little weird and janky looking up. I had eye surgery about 3 weeks ago, and I've been dealing with a detached retina for the past year and a half. And it's funny because the doctors that I've been talking to, one of the first things I say is, hey, I'm a person in recovery. I can't do narcotics. I can't do certain types of drugs because it'll trigger, the addiction all over again. And we find ways of working around. Now, I understand that's not necessarily possible for everybody. It was funny. I did a diversion first press conference in Fairfax County about 3-4 weeks ago. And I remember reading some of the comments in the articles from people that suffer with chronic pain. And my heart goes out to them. I'm not one of those people. And what I can say for me is that if that is your situation, based on my lived experience, I would just simply talk to your pain management doctor and make sure that they are actually familiar with the disease of addiction. It's been said a million times, I've said it a million times. This is not a moral failing on the part of people that are afflicted with this disease. Recovery is not about bad people trying to be good. It's about sick people trying to get well. And if you know people out in the community that suffer with this disease, please try to have some level of understanding for them. And, we do bad things, absolutely. Lie, cheat, steal, break things, hurt people, absolutely. We do that stuff when we're out there under the influence. But what's amazing to me is that the past 8 years I've been in recovery, I haven't gotten arrested once for doing anything wrong. It's kind of funny. I got into recovery and then I stopped getting arrested. I don't know why that works, but it does. So it's just something to consider. If you're out there and you hear this, you see this, the community of people in recovery, they're waiting for you out there. Contact your local community service board if you're out there and you're trying to get help. If you're in Loudoun County, Loudoun County Mental Health. If you're in Fairfax, Fairfax Community Service Board, wherever you are. If it's anywhere in the state of Virginia or anywhere in the nation even, go out, get help. Okay, I could not do this on my own. I've never met anyone that could. Go out there, get the help. Okay. They're waiting for you with open arms. And you have no idea what kind of a beautiful life awaits you once you get into recovery. It's hard at first, but it gets better. That's all I've got. Thank you.